Hi everyone, it's Paola, so welcome back to my channel. Today's video is exciting because I'm doing a freelancing Q&A, so you got your questions in. I'm here to answer everything that you want to know about freelancing. I am, one, a graphic designer. This is a graphic design channel. I am a freelance designer, yes, and two, follow me on Instagram and also check out below my Patreon. Consider becoming a patron to help donate to this channel. So I'm excited. I have so many questions. I put it out on Instagram, I put it out on YouTube, and I have a lot to go through, so let's get going. I'm excited to share that this video is sponsored by ReadyMag. ReadyMag is a browser-based design tool that helps create websites, online shops, portfolios, and presentations, all without coding. So it's like a graphics editor with enhanced capabilities for the web. You can design whatever you want and publish whatever you want all in one click. ReadyMag has over 3,000 free fonts that you can use, and there's an integrated library of over 500,000 photos. You can also easily animate any widget on your website. ReadyMag makes it so simple. So you can sign up completely free without a credit card and get started. So they have a bunch of different templates, but if you want to dive in more, there is a paid plan that you can look into to have unlimited access to everything. So to share with you guys, the first 100 users to use the code PAOLA on their purchase will get 25% off. Thank you so much for sponsoring me, ReadyMag. Let's get back to the video. Check them out in the link below. So right off the top, when I got all these questions, I was compiling the list of all the questions I got, there was main themes, and that main theme was, how do I find clients? So guys, I know that you guys want to know this, and I actually have an entire video on it. I have the Freelance series. The Freelance series is where I go in depth about probably all these main things that you want to know. We'll have that linked everywhere here. But yeah, that is the main go-to source. This is kind of just going to answer more specific questions or just things that can help. But yes, I do go into detail about how to find clients. I am in kind of a unique position, as I say in that video too, that I get a lot of clients from YouTube, but that's all I'll say about it right now. One question I will answer about it specifically is finding your first client. I thought that was kind of a more specific answer that I could give. How I found my first client was just from word of mouth. I posted on Facebook. I, talked to friends and whatever, and then I think I got one from Facebook, through Facebook, my first real client that wasn't a family member. But even that, you can start by finding family members who need something done. You don't need to be doing logos right off the bat. You could be doing invitations for something. You can start small scale and work your way up to whatever it is you want to be doing. So don't overthink it, guys. The clients will come. It might not always be steady. That's kind of the freelance life. But yes, check out my series. I definitely go into that way more. The other main question I got was how to price things. And let me tell you, I have a whole video on that too. But yeah, pricing, guys, I have a whole video on that and how to do it and how to gauge your prices and how not to let people rip you off. So yes, definitely check that out too. With pricing, I have changed my prices since that video, but not by a ton, but I've definitely grown as a designer and I still approach everything the same way, so that video is definitely what you're going to want to check out. This one says, do Fiverr and Upwork really work? I personally have not used them actually, but I have heard people's experience from using them. Some people love it. Some people I've heard really hate it because they feel like they're being undervalued. So I have presented it as a thing if you want to find clients through that way, if you want to start working that way as a freelancer, it might be a good way to get started, start working with people. That's definitely a way to do it. But like I said, you can be undervalued. You can really not make a ton of money because you're going through a service and it just might not be the right fit for you. But again, that's just you and how much you're going to have to put in work when you actually do it. Because even signing up for one of those sites, it doesn't guarantee that you're gonna have 20 clients off the bat, I like this question because I kind of want to clear things up. Can you afford all your expenses without YouTube with freelance? Guys, I can't cover all my expenses with anything. I think some of you maybe are under the impression that I'm making tons of money. I'm not. I had to move out of my New York apartment in the pandemic. My lease was up anyway, but I had to move out. I am living with my parents right now, and client work is not steady, and YouTube does not give me enough to cover living expenses. I mean, not all my expenses. It covers some things, and definitely I'm growing, and that's kind of my goal, is to be able to do these things and live off of. But no. I don't want to like get your hopes up. I'm trying to be realistic, guys. I'm in the same position as you. I'm just the person who has the platform to maybe help you out with things that you don't know. Okay, so with freelancing, how to be professional? That's a great question because it's literally you. You're the one who's putting yourself out there. It's your personality. It's you talking with people individually. And that can be hard if you don't really know how to be professional. I think a main thing is just like acting confident, the whole fake it till you make it. I think that really makes sense here because you're in charge of yourself, you're setting your rules. You are either emailing with people or calling people or talking to people like face to face. But professional is subjective, but also like just being yourself and kind of like faking this confidence that you have everything together is the best way to do it because eventually you will have it more together as you go on in freelance and you will be able to like be like, yep, this is like what I do. Here's my contract. Here's my pricing. Like you'll have all of that like on the side, like ready to go every time once you get into it, and it won't feel as like awkward anymore to like ask for money or like say you have to sign this or whatever it is. So I think that just comes with time. Faking it till you make it is the answer. Pros and cons of freelance. Okay, so pros, you work for yourself. You get to create amazing stuff, and the only people telling you what to do are your clients, and even that's a back and forth. So it's very conversation. It's very like subjective ideation, why did I say it like that, ideation, and you get to make your schedule, so it's so much fun. Cons, it can be really like not stable and can be all over the place. You might not have a client sometimes, and you might have too many clients sometimes and have to deny people, so it gets complicated there. Two, you might find it hard to schedule yourself and be in charge of your own schedule, so if that's something hard for you, that could definitely be a con. And three, it's hard to find people to work with all the time. It's hard to reach out, and all of this, you're not surrounded by a company and have a salary that is guaranteed, so it's kind of hard. I have actually worked with a few people that were international. They found me from YouTube, so I'm not sure if that's probably just a coincidence, but I have worked with people that were in other countries, and then also I hope not, because I'm actually planning on moving to another country, so so I hope not. But I think I'll still be able to be working in America and with like US people when I'm in another country. And like I said, I've worked with people outside the US while I'm here, so depends. In terms of like payment and stuff, you just have to ask what they have, and like I usually use PayPal for stuff like that because that's international anyway. Okay, this one says, do you approach clients? If yes, do you have any suggestions on how to do it? I haven't actually approached that many clients. One thing I do really want to do is reach out to companies, like to see if they need a freelancer, and I think I would just find someone specifically in the company or someone who works in the design department or marketing or whatever and reach out to them directly and, be very professional and just be like, hi, like this is who I am, this is my credentials, this is my portfolio, and show them who you are and just be like, do you need anything? Do you need me to freelance for you? Like, I could work on this type of project, I could do this type of thing, and just pitch yourself. I mean, all you have to do is, throw it out there, and the worst they can do is say no. I really encourage people to do an internship or job, but I am one of those people that didn't. My path and my journey in design was just kind of random and all over the place, so I'm not really like the best example because I went straight into freelance essentially. I mean, if you like look at it. But yes, you can absolutely go into freelance. I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't, but if you can get work experience, it's always good. This says, how many designs do you do in a month? So it depends on how many clients I'm working with. Like, that just depends. But in general, I'm also working on so many other things. I'm doing YouTube content, so I'm making designs sometimes for that. And then I am making designs for my Patreon and working in there. And then I am doing some client work. And my client work has not been steady at all, especially this year. But I usually, like, if I were to have multiple clients or something, I would probably do like 2 in a month. I wouldn't be working on like too much, This is a good question that links back to another freelancing series video. Do you use contracts for your clients, and what's the best resource to get one? I'm not sure about free resources, but I have a whole video on putting together a contract and what you need to add, and you can always copy mine. It's in there too. How can I show my work to more people with only having a few followers? I don't think that followers is going to equal clients, so I wouldn't worry too much about like your online following, but obviously that's gonna help. Like, it can only help. But you can totally show your work to more people. I mean, there's so many different sites. Definitely utilize LinkedIn as in terms of you putting yourself out there as a freelancer, like looking for jobs, looking for stuff, and then linking your portfolio website or whatever you have to show your work. Also, maybe joining Behance to show your stuff, because that can get your name out there. I don't think Instagram is going to be the main way to get clients. I don't even answer DMs really about like freelancing stuff, because I'd rather just, do all my business on email and not social media. And this one about how many followers on Instagram did you have when you started getting steady clients? The misconception I think here is that people think I have steady clients. I do not. I am not the person that you're gonna say is the most successful designer out there, okay? But also, I don't think my followers on Instagram had anything to do with it. I will say that. Oh, I like this question. How did you set boundaries for yourself? I find myself overworking every day. Yes, this is very hard, especially when you're just starting freelance or you're doing like multiple things. Like me, I'm doing YouTube freelance, like I'm doing a lot of different things. I get it. But boundaries, I just make sure that I take the time for myself in the day to get the things I want to do done. Like, not even like tasks. Like, I really like to do yoga. So like, I make sure that I'm doing yoga. I make sure I'm like doing my hair, doing my makeup if I feel like it. I make sure that I'm like taking time to even just like sit down and watch a YouTube video. I love watching YouTube, obvi. And like, I just make sure that I'm also doing that in the day, and then setting aside the time for my work, like not overworking myself, not letting myself get caught up in like too much, and just saying like, okay, I'm gonna set aside this time, and then once it's past that time period, I'm like, okay, moving on, I'm gonna go watch a YouTube video as my little reward or whatever. So yeah, don't overwork yourself, and try not to work on weekends as a freelancer. I know a lot of people think that freelancers should be like available 24/7. I don't really email anyone back on a Saturday or a Sunday. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to email you back. And sometimes I'll get stuff like following up, like they emailed me Friday afternoon, they follow up Monday morning. I'm like, I have a weekend just like everybody else. Like, I'm not working. So yes, don't overwork yourself, and definitely don't work on weekends. It's not worth it. Unless you have a really important project, then I do. Do clients usually hire you to create minimalistic work or more intricate work? I like this because it's more about me and what I'm doing with my clients. I am actually doing a lot more minimalistic work, but that's kind of my style. I do have some stuff that's like a little more like illustrative, kind of like, not really, to a little bit of an extent. But yes, I'm doing mostly minimalistic work, and that's because that's what I show in my portfolio, that's my style, and people come to me for that. So yeah, don't accept client work if they're like coming to you for something that is not your style at all and something you never do. Like, it just might not be the right match. How to best present work on a portfolio website. So I think the best way is just making it easy to navigate. Easy navigation on a website is gonna pay off. Like, it's not gonna be confusing. Everything's laid out beautifully, and also utilize mock-ups. Like, if you utilize mock-ups, your work is gonna look 10 times more professional than just little pictures or just the digital design. Can I be a freelancer if I haven't been to university but with a course? Okay, so I've actually changed my opinion on this one like pretty recently, and I feel like in general, like I do encourage like going to university, because I think, or like at least being trained in design, that sets you apart from people who aren't trained in design. But it's also like very unrealistic to expect everyone who wants to go into this field to do that, and it's like a little unfair on people who don't have the advantages to do that. So I feel like anyone can be a designer, and if you work hard enough, you can be one. So don't worry about not going to university. If you want to do it, you can do it. Did you start freelancing right after school? So like I said, I kind of did. I started working like a little bit in school, like for like family members, and then after school I did like kind of immediately go into it. I was always looking for a job, and it just never panned out for me, and I think that's just because YouTube was panning out for me, and I've just kind of been riding the waves. So yeah, I basically did, and I'm kind of just a weird story with that. How would you know if you're skilled enough to be a freelance graphic designer? I think anyone can be a freelance designer, but you need to like make sure that you know how you work. Like, are you going to be able to be in charge of yourself? Are you going to be able to schedule yourself, respond to people promptly, and actually get things done in a time frame? I feel like that's where like the skill comes in, not really so much like, oh, do I even have like skills to make a logo or whatever? Because if you're a designer, you should at least have that knowledge and that ability. Do you think it's a good idea to work and also do freelancing? I think it's fine if you can handle it. Like I just said in the other one, like figure out how you work, and if you can handle it, go for it because, extra money on the side. I don't know. But yeah, don't overwhelm yourself if it's going to make your work slack. Okay, so how do you pick what to include in your portfolio? I would say always take the best of the best work that you're doing. Never pick anything that you're like about, because that's not going to help you. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. So pick your best work, put it in there, and student work is absolutely acceptable as long as you are showing your abilities as a designer and a broad range of your abilities. What are some client red flags? Kind of love that. Client red flags, if they come to you saying, I want this and this and this, but I totally trust you. I know that sounds bad, but like if you can tell that they're a little bit like demanding about the things that they want off the bat, that's like a little bit of a red flag. That's like a pink flag, because obviously I'm still going to work with them. I'm not going to say like, oh, they're controlling, but they might have a very specific idea in mind that you need to suss out before you move any further. How do you build your personal brand? I think it's just all about who you are, what you do, and what you like, and just throwing all of that into your actual personal brand. I have rebranded so many times. You don't ever have to be satisfied, and God knows as designers we never are, but just go with what you like off the bat and then see where that takes you, and if it's working and if it translates to the type of clients you want. If it's not, change. Have you turned down a client at the first approach? In ways, yes. Sometimes people will come to me for things I don't offer, and I'm very honest about that, and I'm like, look, I don't do this. Like, sorry, but you have to tell them. You're not just gonna like fake it and pretend that you do a whole service that you don't. And then sometimes I tell them my price and they ghost me, but that's just how it goes. Okay, so that was all the questions I'm able to answer. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and let me know if you have any other questions in the comments below. I will answer, or try to, or at least keep things in mind for future videos. So yes, please subscribe if you're not subscribed, and follow me everywhere like I said. And I'll see you in my next video. Okay, bye! Okay, it's getting really dark outside, so I should probably call it quits.